gave her in front of you. So after she's done giving the oath, please sign it, and Sheriff Wallace will pick it up and we'll get it started. Okay, will everybody stand, please, remove your hats, raise your right hand. I state your name. Having been elected or appointed to the office of County Board Supervisor,
Having been elected to the office of County Board Supervisor,
but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof,
have not yet entered upon the duties thereof,
swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability.
and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's yours.
Yeah. 50 years is kind of hard to break a habit.
But when it's hazy, then you know. Yeah.
No, I don't know. 10-ish. One, two, three. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's 8.
It's 8.
Not enough.
I can line people up to do this. Which is and then all those things. Yeah, this is, different. But each could be similar. There's so much stuff. There's nothing they can do for anyway.
Well, they get to so we took him and tested him because before he had that. We took him back on Monday because he said he could go back on Tuesday. So and they gave him that. And then he finally was better.
Just like you said, it's at the beginning. Even kids, you'll call them. I've got great kids. I think it's so
Yeah, I just saw one this morning. There was a dinosaur on his face last night.
Oh, really?
And right here next to it, his leg gone this morning. I was like, come fix it. I was like, are you kidding me? It's like, you're 4, you're not 2. And we're trying to see how long he actually stayed. He's a rough sleeper, so like he rubs his face on the back and everything. So like, I want to see like how long
Put it right through the night at least, so they have it the next day.
He twists his jump because of a bad cough. So like, pushes me off the table. He's like upside down.
I know, I've had to see her.
We'll be at Bruno's Festival, and we'll be like the booster days and, we'll be at booster days and, warehouse for a couple other, like, I think the 31st we're doing something with this lake for the chamber, and a couple of Park Falls chambers, and Christina moved up since, had a couple of people ask, you know, if she's over there, so people see the kids again.
Oh, really?
No reason to paint the kids in some.
Yeah. Little advertising. Yeah.
But you know, realistically, that kind of stuff would be accessible if your kids wanted to, you could just get a hold of me and I can let it pay off. It's not like
Right. It's just something they don't get very often. It's fun for them. How about the blue
It was a kind of thing. Savannah, you know, she planned for pageant. She didn't want to. She was supposed to get into it the first year. She done the second year. She was like, no, they were giving her that nice scholarships for her second year. And, but their kids had said they felt precious into doing it. That's okay. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't know. I draw the line. And then she was talking, she was told to change everything. You can't do this, you can't do that. Like, it was everything. And she was just like, and so she spoke up about it. And she spoke up about her family to join. And so they were like, so that David was like, she should be able to come to this meeting and defend herself. If you're going to use my head against her. So she was like, no, please. So when we did the scholarship stuff, I said, just, you know, make sure that nobody says, oh, we didn't get one from you. Scream for the Edward Scream consultant. No, he's not.
Oh, he's vice president. Oh, okay.
No, they immediately, they specific family, they didn't.
Not her meeting.
And they brought their whole.
The swearing in, but not the meeting.
People don't show their meetings. People who move away to Kansas come to the meeting. Video them in, never been allowed to video in for closed session.
If you fall asleep, I'll just let you. Yeah. Just off your shoulder.
Still don't know how much money we made from supposedly still some places.
What's that? I figured it was more productive.
You know,
It's just, that's just, and I was questioning specific people. And then there's been people that are like telling me stuff like, they had mentioned face painting and bag. You know, so you shouldn't have that. Interesting. Okay. Doesn't hurt me.
Call the Rusk County Board of Supervisors meeting, April 16th, 2024, call to order. And roll call, please. Present, we have a quorum. invocation by Ms. Most Good and pledge of allegiance by Jerry Miller. Please stand.
My voice, O God, in my prayer, Psalm 64:1. If it be in your will to bless the newly formed Rusk County Board, guard us against personal agendas. Grant us foresight to do our best in these uncertain times. Father, please empower our leaders to be people of justice, integrity, and goodness. We come before you as stewards, accepting the challenges and responsibilities of making decisions for our county, but not relying on our own understanding, instead seeking the guidance from within your word. Take courage, and the will of the Lord be done. Acts 21:14, in Jesus' name, amen.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
They're working it out. It's illegal for him to tell people to stand.
Approval of the minutes for March 19th, 2024. A motion by Mr. Trudeau, second by Mr. Miller. Any questions, changes? If not, vote. Passed by a majority, 16 yes. Public comment, 3 minutes per person with a maximum public comment of 30 minutes on agenda items only. Any public comment? Yes,
Do you want me to stand or can I remain seated?
can you come up to the mic there, please?
Sure.
State your name.
Stephanie Christensen. So I'm talking on the addendum item, the shelter position. I'll read the excerpt from the actual county and city contract. This is section D. It is agreed between the parties hereto that the shelter board, as established pursuant to section J of this agreement, has no authority to incur obligations, enter into contracts, expend monies, procure services or goods, or otherwise obligate the resources of either the city or the county beyond the annual budget for the animal shelter approved by both city and county and adopted by the county pursuant to section 665.90 stats. So I've gone to a few meetings and watched online and observed that it was passed through the joint board under false pretenses. They had approved it to go through to see if the job would be feasible. It was then twisted into approving the job without the city's knowledge. It should have been technically brought up in the fall of 2023 in August and September for the city to vote via their council meeting to put it in their budget. It is not budgeted for, and I'm asking you to wait until this coming fall to revisit it. Otherwise, you are potentially opening the door for the city to break the contract with the county on funding the shelter, which is also in that contract, which would mean, as of last year's funding from the city was $59,888.88. You're risking the city being able to walk away from their obligations of the shelter by allowing this to go through without their consent. So I'm hoping you guys vote no today and just revisit it this fall and do it properly. Otherwise, that's just bad business and it's not a good look. We're supposed to work together. People don't realize the city is part of the county as far as like monies go. So city taxpayers do pay 20% county taxes and county residents don't pay any taxes in the city. So just some things to think about. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Any other public comment? If not, we'll close public comment. And now, I will switch this over to Mr. Rich Summerfield.
So, now is the time for the county board chair elections. Mr. Caleb is the current county board chair. We're currently relinquishing his position so that he can potentially run for that position. I will run the election of the county board chair. So, at this point in time, it would be in order for people to make nominations for county board chair. Mr. Flattery.
I would nominate Dave Willingham.
Mr. Willingham, will you accept that nomination?
Yes, sir.
You wanna unclick Mr. Flattery? Mr. Kudo?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I nominate, excuse me, John Caleb.
Mr. Caleb, will you accept that nomination?
Yes.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Final call, any other nominations for the county board chair? Hearing none, we will close nominations and vote. Sheriff, if you will assist with the passing of the ballot and the collection. So you'll write either Mr. Caleb or Mr. Willingham on the ballot, fold it, and then the sheriff will collect them once complete.
Right here.
Sheriff.
I'm right here.
No, I might get it right.
The voting has been conducted. Mr. Willingham received 8 votes. Mr. Caleb received 11 votes. So Mr. Caleb is your current county board chair.
Thank you, everyone.
You'll run the other ones, Jeff. Yep. Well, that's it. Okay, then I will also run the county board vice chair nominations as well. At this point in time, it would be in order for nominations for county board vice chair.
I nominate Schneider.
Mr. Schneider, will you accept that nomination?
Yes.
Ms. Good,
I nominate Phil Anderson.
Mr. Unterschutz, would you accept that nomination?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'll nominate Jerry Biller.
Mr. Biller, will you accept that nomination? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Final call for the vice chair of the county board. Hearing none, we will close the nominations. Now,
now that there's 3 people pursuant to Robert's rules, a general understanding may be that if we do not get a majority vote, that the lowest vote getter is removed and will vote again. That's incorrect, okay? The pursuant to Robert's rules is everybody will vote on the same 3 people until one of the 3 people get a majority vote, which would be 10 out of the 19. So just so everybody's clear here. Okay?
I got it.
Would you hear the names again, please?
Yes, Mr. Bill Schneider, Mr. Phil Unterschutz, and Mr. Jerry Biller. We will vote again. Mr. Schneider had 4 votes, Mr. Unterschutz 8 votes, and Mr. Biller 7 votes. And the number is 10. I don't know if I said that previously. And again, you're voting for Mr. Schneider, Mr. Unterschutz, or Mr. Biller. We still do not have a majority. We have Mr. Schneider with 3, Mr. Unterschutz with 9, Mr. Biller with 7, so we'll vote again.
Can we withdraw anything? We don't act like the federal government and stand for it.
Completely up to you, if that's what you wanna do. Okay, for the record, Mr. Schneider has withdrawn himself from the nominations for the vice chair. So you are currently left with 2, Mr. Unterschutz and Mr. Biller.
We need 2 more.
The votes are in. Mr. Unterschutz has received 11 votes and Mr. Biller has received 8 votes, so Mr. Unterschutz is the vice chair of the county board.
Congratulations, Phil.
Thank you. At this point in time, I've been instructed by the chair to continue with the nominations for the committee and committees. For those of you that are new to the county board, the committee and committees list is, I believe, on page 3. Well, page 3, but page 5 because it's duplicate. So, in the county, there's a variety of committees that people are appointed to and then approved by the county board at the next county board meeting. The committee and committees is made up of the county board chair, the county board vice chair, and then 3 members. 1 of the west, 1 of the east, and 1 of the central. You can see those names listed on the screen on each side of the building here. We'll nominate 1 from the west, 1 from the east, 1 from the central. At the conclusion of today's county board meeting, those 3 people, in addition to the board chair and the vice chair, will meet and select the remainder of the committees that the county has. So, at this point in time, it would be in order for nominations for, we'll start with the west, on the committee and committees. We have Alec Hampton, Terry Wedwick, Susan Bose, Tom Kudo, Kurt Gorsinger. John Caleb is gonna be removed because he's already on that, and then Tom Hansen. So it would be in order to nominate 1 of those for the committee on committees.
We'll nominate out loud.
What's that?
They can do it on their paper.
Yeah, we'll take, I'm sorry, we'll take nominations for the people that are going to be on the committee on committees based upon those 6 people that I just stated. So again, it would be in order for a nomination for 1 of those 6 people to serve on the committee on committees. Okay, use your button, but Mr. Biller? Okay. I'm sorry, who?
Terry Wedwick.
Okay, there's a nomination for Mr. Terry Wedwick. Mr. Terry Wedwick, would you accept that nomination?
Yes.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Final call, any other nominations for committee on committees western districts? Hearing none, I would then ask for a motion to cast a unanimous ballot in favor of Terry Wedwick as the west member of the committee on committees. We have a motion. Okay, go ahead. We have a motion by Mr. Billard to cast an unanimous ballot from Mr. Wedwick. Is there a second? A second by, Mr. Hanson. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations, Mr. Wedwick. Now we'll move to the, east, I guess. It would be in, the East District members are Jerry Billard, Stacy Zimmer, John Moore, Brian Coggins, Philip Schneider, and Jim Meyer. It would be in order for the board to take nominations for Committee on Committees Eastern District. Okay, we have a nomination for Mr. Jim Meyer. Mr. Jim Meyer, will you accept that nomination?
Yes.
Ms. Good.
I nominate Phil Schneider.
Mr. Schneider, will you accept that nomination?
Yes.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Final call, any other nominations for East Districts of the Committee on Committees? Hearing none, we'll close the nominations and cast your ballots. And again, you have Jim Meyer or Phil Schneider. Oh, initial on the bottom of these, I'm sorry, thank you. Yes, sir. The rules state that the county board and vice chairs, you do not initial.
There must be two stuck together.
We got it right here.
On the bottom of the ballot for this one.
Mr. Jim Meyer, 9 votes, and Mr. Schneider, 10 votes. Mr. Schneider, congratulations on the Committee on Committees from the East District. Finally, Committee on Committees Central, we have Sherry Wallace, Phil Entershoots, but he's already on, so he's being removed. Lois Good, Dave Willingham, Mike Russell, and Jim Platterner. At this point in time, we'll accept nominations for the Central District of those 5 people. Mr. Platterner.
Nominate Dave Willingham.
Okay, Mr. Willingham, will you accept that nomination?
Yes.
Mr. Kudo.
I nominate Lois Good.
Ms. Good, will you accept that nomination?
Yes, I will.
Hold on. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Final call for Central District of Committee on Committees. Hearing none, we'll close nominations and go ahead and vote. Mr. Willingham received 7 votes, Ms. Good received 12. Congratulations, Ms. Good, you're on the committee and committees from the central districts. At this point in time, we will move along and, to the highway committee districts. So statutorily, the highway committee, is made up of 5 separate districts. You'll see them on the board behind, you on each side. There's northeast, northwest, southwest, southeast, central. This is the highway committee. We'll start with the northeast. At this point in time, it would be in order to take nominations for the northeast district highway committees, which are Jerry Biller, Stacy Zimmer, and John Moore. Nominations at this time. Go ahead and see who's first. Mr. Zimmer.
I nominate Jerry Biller.
Okay, Mr. Biller, will accept that nomination? Somebody went off. Oh, okay. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Final call for highway committee from the northeast districts. Hearing none, and we will close the nominations. At this point in time, it would be in order to.
I make a motion that we unanimously Jerry Biller as the.
We have a motion.
District number 1 northeast for highway committee.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Kudo to cast unanimous ballot for Jerry Biller as the northeast district highway committee member, and a second by Mr. Schneider. Motion and a second. Any other questions? Go ahead and vote by voice.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Congratulations, Mr. Biller. Now we'll move to the Northwest District. District number 2. Alec Hampton, Terry Wedwick, Sherry Wallace, and Susan Bowles. At this point in time, I accept nominations for one of those 4 people. Okay, we have a nomination by Mr. Kill to nominate Mr. Wedwick. Mr. Wedwick, will you accept that nomination?
Yes.
Any other Mr. Untershich?
I'll nominate Alec Hampton.
Mr. Hampton, are you willing to accept that nomination?
Yes.
Okay. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Final call, Northwest District for the highway committees. Any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll close the nominations, and you're voting for Mr. Hampton or Mr. Wedwick for the Northwest Districts of the Highway Committee.
So you had to come for 2 instead. Slower.
The votes are in. Mr. Hampton received 10 votes, Mr. Wedwick received 9. Mr. Hampton, congratulations, you are the District number 2 Highway Committee member. District number 3, the southwest quadrant of the county. Tom Kudo, Kurt Gorsinger, John Caleb, and Tom Hansen. At this time, it would be in order to accept nominations for one of those 4 people. Mr. Biller.
Nominate John Caleb.
Mr. Caleb, will you accept that nomination?
Yes.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Hearing no other nominations, we will close the ballot for number 3, and now would be in order for someone to cast or make a motion to cast unanimous ballot for John Kill to serve as District Number 3 of the Highway Committee member. So we have a motion by Mr. Coggins, correct?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Kudo. Any other questions?
I'm Southwest.
That was Southwest, yeah. Hearing none, vote aye in favor.
Aye.
Any opposed? Say aye. Hearing none, motion carried. Congratulations, Mr. King. Now we will move to the Southeast District, number 4. We have Mr. Hunter Schutz, Mr. Brian Coggins, Mr. Philip Schneider, and Mr. Jim Meyer. It would be in order to make nominations at this time. Mr. Kudo.
I nominate Jim Meyer.
Mr. Meyer, are you willing to accept that nomination?
Yes.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Final call, any other nominations for District Number 4 of the Highway Committee? Hearing none, we'll close nominations, and it would be in order to cast unanimous, or for someone to make a motion to cast a unanimous ballot, nominating Jim Meyer as the District Number 4 Highway Committee member. Motion by Mr. Caleb, second by Mr. Schneider. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. Finally, Central District, District Number 5, we have Lois Good, Dave Willingham, Mike Russell, and James Platterner. This time, I would accept nominations for one of those 4 people for District Number 5 of the Highway Committee. Mr. Russell?
I nominate Jim Platterner.
Mr. Platterner, are you willing to accept that nomination? Yes? Okay. Mr. Kudo?
I nominate Lois Good.
Ms. Good, are you willing to accept that nomination?
Yes, I will.
Any other nominations for District Number 5? Any other nominations for District Number 5? Final call, any other nominations for District Number 5? Hearing none, we will close the nominations and go ahead and vote. Mr. Platter received 10 votes, Ms. Good received 9. Congratulations, Mr. Platter, you are on District Number 5 of the Highway Committee. At this point in time, I believe that concludes all of the elections. I believe in your guys' packets that you received last week, there is a dream sheet, that they'll call it, that I think most of you have submitted. If you haven't, submit that to the clerk at the end of this meeting, so the committee and committees has some knowledge of your desires. Thank you, Sheriff, and Ms. Goodis for assisting in the election. Sheriff, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Summerfield. Congratulations to everybody. Presentation, update from Samuel's Group and Venture Architect regarding the jail project.
Well, good morning, everyone. Congratulations on the elections. And we're just going to keep the update brief today. We're handing out a packet here, and what the packet includes is questions that were received from the website. The ones that are colored are the ones that are received from the website. So you'll see the question, and then you'll see the response. And then at the end of the packet, we've done our best to summarize the questions that were raised at all of the town hall meetings. So you'll see some of the questions that were raised. Couldn't go back into all of the responses that were done at the town hall meeting, but I will say that I was impressed with how many of you attended those meetings. I was impressed with the turnout by the communities. I would say that we had a full house at every one of the meetings, and it was great dialogue with your constituents to be able to talk about the overall project. Some of the main things that had come up from the questions that have been raised on the website, as well as questions that were raised at the town hall meetings. A lot of them revolved around location of the jail. Why couldn't renovation be a solution? Out of county housing was a question. We call it a greenfield site, or a location that's separate from this campus, became a pretty big topic. And then the skywalk was another large topic of, is it needed? Is there an alternate solution? All of those sorts of things that are there. So how we were gonna work this is get to you the information that we had received through the communication plan to date, which is obviously website information. If we get more, we will share them with you as well. But since you have so many new board members that are here today, we're not gonna ask you to obviously take any action or discussion of that point. I understand that you will have an orientation meeting with your new board members. We intend to give an update, a more detailed update to the new board members that you may have some questions about the history of this project. So we'll present then, and then when we come back in May, there's been some data that was asked for in those meetings relative to operational expenses, and when I say that, like utilities and components. So we'll give you a comparison of each one of the options that's been discussed, so that you can have that information for your May board meeting moving forward. And I guess what I would encourage, if any of you have questions specific to any of the data that I gave to you today, or anything that was presented prior, please reach out to us, and we'd be more than happy to spend some time with you one-on-one and give you some information. I mean, especially the new board members, but if there's some existing board members that have a desire to have more information, we want to make sure that we get that to you. So all in all, I think the town hall meetings were well attended and very respectful group in regards to your community. It's nice coming up to the Northwoods and talking to people about things that are happening in the community. So, thank you. Any questions on where we are or where we're headed?
Any questions, anybody? Any comments?
If you need my contact information, you could hit that up for that, if you want to connect with us outside of the meeting. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Kurt. Okay, discussion possible motion, number 6, law enforcement proclamation. Proclamation. Whereas the Congress President of the United States has designated May 15th as Peace Officer Pacific Memorial Day in the week in which May 15th falls in National Police Week, and whereas the member of the law enforcement agency of Rusk County play an essential role in the safeguarding of the rights and freedoms of the Rusk County, and whereas it is important to all citizens to know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of the law enforcement agency, and that members of our law enforcement agency recognize the duty to serve the people and safeguarding life and property by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and weak against oppression. And whereas during the National Police Week and throughout the year, Rusk County recognizes and appreciates the critical contributions and sacrifices made by members of the law enforcement and all levels, and at all levels, and honor their courage and dedication. And whereas it is known that the 135 officers were killed in the line of duty in 2023, and many others were seriously assaulted in the performance of their duty. Our community joins with others, communities, cities, towns, and honor the memory and the sacrifices to pay homage to their legacy of excellence and devotion to their duty. Now therefore, I, John Cale, chairperson of Rusk County Board and Supervisors, do hereby proclamation May 12th through the 18th, 2024 as National Police Week, and Wednesday, May 15th, 2024 as Peace Officer Memorial Day, in honor of those law enforcement officers who, through their courageous deeds, have made their ultimate sacrifice in service in their community and have become disabled in the performance of their duties. And let us recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes. May we always remember what they do on a daily basis and defend and protect our rights and safety. I witness, wherefore I have hereon to set my hand and affix the seal to the county of Rusk this 16th day of April 2024. Okay. Approval of the proposed county board meeting dates, which is in the packets. And a motion by Mr. Kudo and a second by Fred Snyder to approve the scheduled dates.
The screen is different than what we're voting on. On our screen, the same modification of the, vehicle ordinance. On our tablets,
I can't hear you.
on our tablets, it says modification of the vehicle ordinance, resolution modification of chapter 46, section 4667, restricted use of snowmobiles.
On here I have approved proposed county board meeting dates. And it's on.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like,
hands up, Alex says
Mine
this
shows
evening.
All the same.
Well, then I guess we can.
I wanna make sure we're clear.
Yeah, I can.
So which one are we actually?
So on your screens, it has that next to it.
Yeah, it's got a different.
Modification of the.
It's got a resolution 10 on our screens.
Can we do a voice vote? Is that okay? I'll just change this to a voice vote.
for the scheduled dates.
Yeah, cause this is right, so I don't know what to do. ID? That's right. This is all correct. It's correct here, it's correct, it's correct. So I'll just
by voice vote. So. All those in favor of approving the County Board of Supervisors scheduled meetings for 2024, 2025, vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, so where's your screen now?
Is that, the HHS American Rescue Plan?
Okay, that's next one.
Now is it showing up now?
Now, I close your screen.
Motion request to speak. Yeah, it's just, it's like a zero.
Okay, so number 8, designating HHS American Rescue Plan funds to be used for Community Project 1. Resolution, should be in the packet.
Backside of the calendar.
How do you want me to do this now? Do you want to do this? We can make a motion.
I have a motion by Phil Schneider. Just doesn't say anything, make a motion. I have a second by Tom Hanson. Has everybody read the resolution? Is there any questions? Good morning, everyone. Welcome aboard. Pardon?
Jeremy off.
Oh,
No, don't start it.
You got a 2-minute run. Less than 2 minutes, I promise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Jeremy Jacobs, Human Services Director. Welcome aboard, everybody, those that are new and those that are back. I appreciate your commitment to our county. Our Public Health Officer is Kaylee Bugby from our department. This resolution is specific into public health specific ARPA allocations that were made available in 2021 to assist with the mitigation efforts associated with COVID-19. The available funds then transitioned availability to address health and wellness disparities associated with the recovery plan. The resolution before you was a culmination of months of efforts by our public health staff to engage community partners in promoting such activities. Not often within Health and Human Services are we able to receive and promote distribution of funds to make enhancements to our communities. We are honored to partner with these community organizations as they invest their expertise to have a positive impact. And so you can see the list there that have engaged with Kaylee as our community partners, and we would like to forge ahead with those allocations to those groups. Less than 2 minutes, maybe even less than a minute.
Did great.
We'd like the minutes.
Jim Meyer.
Oh, I guess I did push it. Anyhow. I thought I did, but anyhow, I do have a question. Haven't we been running all these, Jamie, through finance before they come to county board? Why are we bypassing this time?
Because this is a different pot of money, this is specific to health and human services. And so health and human services, their invoices are not subject to like be approved through finance before they get paid. So we thought that if the health and human services board is approving these ARPA dollars allocations that are grants, you know, it's separate from our other ARPA pot of money.
Okay.
So.
So it has nothing to do with the other ARPA that the county received from, okay.
In fact, these allocations started as mitigation funds in 2021, and then they transitioned to specifically address the health disparity.
For your.
Specific for public health related health and human services.
Thank you for the clarification.
Good question.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I see it, Phil, I just can't get to it.
Oh.
Were you supposed to throw something?
Well, I was gonna make a motion to amend this here. I would like to amend, so we're gonna take out the embrace, which applies to set up the harm reduction vending machine. I've, noticed sometimes that organization kind of takes a little bit of a political stance. And I feel like if the county board endorses an organization taking a political stance, it's almost like us, voting on politics. So I'd like to vote to, take out the embrace out of this one.
So,
I had a motion by Bill to amend, second by Lois. And just so we're clear, I barely heard you, Phil, I'm sorry.
The motion is to strike out the embrace for supplies and set up for harm reduction vending machine.
Okay, so that's what we're looking at. Any questions on that amendment?
Okay.
Mr. Moynihan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Jacobs, I believe that the Health and Human Services Board went on record as supporting the Embrace program. Embrace has also been designated by state agencies to do this in other places.
Yes.
So, as a member of the Embrace Board, I would urge you to vote no on the amendment, respectfully disagreeing with the point of, I'm not sure that we could vouch for any other organization not having a position similar to theirs as far as their advocacy and their manner in which they would be responsible for these funds. It is I believe, a necessary program. I think you could maybe give a little bit more information to the board as to how this program works.
Yeah, I think that, the, most recently, the harm reduction efforts throughout the state have become paramount. And while I hear both sides of this, our community partners, obviously Embrace and others, have been engaged in harm reduction for a long time. And what we mean by harm reduction is that we are assisting not only from a reproductive health, but right on through a continuum of care of harm reduction types of choices that our community members can make. And so from a human services standpoint, we are often asked to engage in harm reduction activities and promoting the wellness and care of our consumers. That being said, very specifically, vending machine mechanism efforts are continual to our department. Is we have been inundated by the Department of Health Services through our public health department to engage in and offer this type of harm reduction opportunity. The intent is to not have it like camera, to where folks can come and get various products that would help them not only with alcohol and drug issues. We have the Narcan, there's a Narcan box right over here, and then also other products that we would be able to use within a vending machine style environment. So I do support this. I will continue to work through my Human Services Board to engage in these harm reduction activities across the board.
Any other questions? Ms. Susan Boss?
May I ask what those other items are that are in some of the vending machines?
Yeah, so great question. So Chippewa County has been a leader for kind of our region in reference to like condoms, safe needle exchange, obviously Narcan, that is sometimes specific into their own box. So like out here, when you're done, if you want to look at that, it's Narcan is available. And then once it's removed from that box, the public health officer gives a notice for us to refill that. That would be available in here. Other things that would be in there? Oh yeah, fentanyl test strips. We also have the, what's the newest one? The xylazine, which is coming across the board to be able to test various drugs for the presence of those harmful additions to drugs.
And it would also give contact information for public health, for referral information if we needed it.
There could be pamphlets and all of those types of things in there that are not just necessarily a product, but it would be more where to seek service, maybe reference guides and all those types of things. It's when it first came out, it came in, I talked about this for a long time. When the vending machine concept first came out, it was difficult to kind of wrap your head around that, because you think a vending machine as, something to put into my belly and those kinds of things. But it really is a one-stop shop opportunity, for folks to be able to come and get things that may assist them or assist somebody else that they may be with or be encounter with.
Mr. Phil Undershoots.
Yeah, where's the safe needle exchange?
Where is it?
What is it?
What is it? Oh, great. So our department used to engage in that, is anybody that is using IV drugs could come and exchange their needles for clean needles. And so, I've heard lots of, when you talk about the political portion of this, a lot of that discussion has been around why are we promoting, from a human services standpoint, promoting people using drugs. It's more of a harm reduction issue. It's not that we're promoting, but if folks are gonna use that, use IV drugs, and they're gonna be out and about in our community, I would rather have them turning the needles into our department and receiving safe needles than dumping them in the neighborhoods where, kids and other folks, vulnerable adults may have access to it.
Plus it reduces the spread of contagious diseases like HIV, hepatitis. I mean, you don't want that in the community. You don't want dirty needles in the parks. So.
Not saying that that's the only place that those things are going to be dumped or disposed of, but those are options where those things are found. And so, again, both sides of that fence, I believe that Embrace at this point in time does a safe needle exchange. And that is an opportunity for folks to come there and exchange out their needles.
But we need to remember, like, harm reduction is not the only aspect of, like, you're still gonna try to get these people help. You're gonna try and, this is just one.
One component.
Yes. It's not like, here you go, we don't care what you do.
This is definitely a hot topic throughout the state, so we expected this to be a part of the conversation, and so,
And the state is actually offering a grant right now for harm reduction vending machines, like if the county wanted one, we could apply for one through the state.
we may be back at Human Services Board to have this discussion again.
Suzanne.
Where in the county are these located? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, super good. That's part of the stigma that the discussion occurs, is where are these available to folks that they don't have to feel like they're pigeonholed into. There's gonna be cameras and the police are gonna come and they're gonna pick them up and those kinds of things. I believe that Embraces is right at the Embrace facility. It took us a long time to place the Narcan box right out here because of that same stigma. It's right at the entrance of our law enforcement center, into our government center. So a lot of discussion around those types of things, lots of discussion about, then the promotion and the awareness of not only where you can get the supplies, but then where you can also access some of that assistance if you're at that point in time to make changes. And so that's, there's a lot of work around that, and we'll continue that.
Okay, any more questions or comments? So Phil, you want to strike this one, right?
Yep.
Correct, and you'll see the resolution on the board behind you, or to the left or right of you.
We're looking at amending to strike that section. Any other questions or comments? If not, we can vote.
This is on the motion to amend the resolution.
Strike this on. 8 yes, 11 no, failed by majority. Okay, so then that takes us back to the original resolution, which we already had a motion by Phil Schneider and a second by Mr. Hanson. Is there any other questions or comments or anything? Mr. Ryan Collins.
I just had one question. What is the triple P certification for Indian Head employee?
That is for somebody from Indian Head Community Action Agency. They started the Family Resource Center back up, and it's training for them. Oh, sorry. So it's training for one of their employees to get certified in this, to help run the Family Resource Center. They have one employee currently trained, and they were hoping to get a second person trained.
It's a big deal to the community to have a family resource center. We used to have one for a long time. That's what old people like me say from a long time ago, is that, family resource center is a great drop-in spot for folks to be able to go and seek resource and also, like-minded folks talking about how you navigate certain aspects of life. It's a great opportunity.
They would offer like parenting classes, things like that, of course.
Any other questions?
We made Kaylee get up here, so good job. Thank you. This is our biggest fear. She did any other questions to ask her right now? Very good, thank you.
No other questions? We can go on it now. Yes, passed by majority vote.
Thank you very much, everybody. Welcome aboard. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Now we got number 9. Modification of vehicle regulations ordinance. I think this is Jared, right? Motion and a second. Motion by Mr. Miller.
Just so you know that things are backwards.
Yeah, it's right down here. And we're writing it down too, so.
Need a second.
We did an update, so maybe they're redoing it, we're not sure.
Sure.
Like an update? I'm Jared McCall, the County Forest Administrator. I've been in this position for just over a year for you guys. Been in the department for 13 plus years. This change, are we on the, so which one are we actually doing?
Vehicle regulation.
Perfect.
Regulation ordinance. Modification of vehicle regulation ordinance.
There are several changes in here. Assuming everybody read it, the vehicles over 3,000 pounds basically refers to trucks and highway licensed vehicles like that. We have to keep them off the funded ATV trails as per Wisconsin, state of Wisconsin requirements in order to receive that funding. This will make that change for us. Also, number 3 on line 114 labels a few other areas to keep them out of, mostly for safety reasons. As you go down from there in letter C, these are areas that ATVs and UTVs are not allowed. Most notably in there, we are removing the boat landings, so they will be allowed at our boat landings. We maintain 20 plus boat landings countywide. Most of them are on town roads and county roads that are already open to ATVs and UTVs, so people desire to use the boat landings with their machines, so this will allow that. And then it cleans up a bunch of the language in the parks, gets rid of some confusing dates and stuff with ice fishing. Beyond that, the seasonal restriction, last month, the board voted to open the funded trails May 1st. This month, the change is to move the opening date of non-funded trails that are just woods roads in the county forest to June 15th. In order to protect them when the ground is soft in early summer.
And then button does not work.
Yes, it does. I was just waiting for him to get done.
Oh, okay.
Are you done, Jared?
I'm done. Any questions?
Sure.
It doesn't work.
Yes, it does.
Just punch it.
Basically, I would like to amend line 116, the self-explanatory rule. ski system, hunter walking trails beyond the parking lot. So just enter hunter walking trails in there.
Insert. So you just add to it.
Yeah.
Which is hunter walking trail system. All right, I got a motion by Phil on the amendment to add hunter walking trail. For a second? Seconded by Mr. Willingham. Is there any questions?
What line was that?
Pardon, 116.
116?
Yeah, it's to add the ski hunter walking trail. We're just adding to it.
Right after ski system.
Any other comments or questions? If not, we can vote on it.
On the amendment.
On the amendment, I'm sorry, on the amendment. Yes, passed by majority. Okay, back to the resolution. Any questions for Jared on the resolution? Any questions? If not, we can vote on the resolution. Susan? 19 yes, passed by majority. Okay, now we're going to number 10. Number 10, modification of chapter 46, section 46-67, restricted use of snowmobile.
So in letter B, cleaning that up a little bit, getting rid of base and moving it to a groomed or open trail. And then removing letter C due to the fact that we probably shouldn't have people cutting firewood on a snowmobile trail when it's open.
I have a motion by Mr. Phil Anderson, I need a second. Second by Mr. Alan Campbell. All right, go ahead. Is there any questions on what we're striking out there? If not, we can vote on it. Passed by majority vote.
Thanks, guys, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Jared.
Thanks, Jared.
So we're going to number 12, which is the addendum. Resolution authorizing contingency funds for animal shelter assistance. Has everybody had a chance to read that? Need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Ludwig and a second by Mr. Kudo. Terry, is there, you want to present on this?
Okay. This is regarding adding a half-time person. Let's back up, especially for the new people. This is from the Joint Animal Control Board. And there's one full-time person out there and 3 part-time people. 3 part-time people are limited in their hours, so we have one full-time person who is a shelter manager, and also who is the, humane officer. She has no backup. The 3 part-time are limited in the hours that they can do. So we want to move part-time person to full-time. It's not quite to make it, a full-time person is like 0.2875 FTE. So this has been going on for months. And, just to give you a little background on it, it's very busy. If she has no backup, and so we need somebody who's there that can back her up. So back on October 19th, 2023, the Joint Animal Control Board approved making a full-time job description and forwarding it to personnel. On February 1st, 2024, Personnel Committee approved reclassifying the part-time worker to full-time and approved the job description and forwarded to the county board. On February 22nd, 2024, the Finance Committee approved the funding source for a full-time shelter worker up to $50,000 from the contingency fund. On February 27th, 2024, the county board approved the reclassification of the part-time animal shelter worker to full-time and the change in the job description, and that it be submitted to Carlson Dittman for the wage classification, because we do not set the wages. Carlson Dittman does that. So that was approved. So the county board has already approved the position. It's been through all these committees many times. And the issue at hand on this is that the city pays 40% of the expenses, the county pays 60%. And the city's been well aware of what's been going on, because there's 2 city representatives that are on the board. So we had to wait until the county board approved it, and then we approached the city to make a presentation to them, and they to get on the agenda, and they didn't respond. And finally, when they responded, they had the city attorney state that employees' hours are in section K of the original agreement, which I have here, which was done in 1987, the contract between the city, county animal shelter. But they're saying that section D overrides that. The animal shelter board can set the salary and everything, but again, still subject to section D, and which means we cannot obligate either the city or the county. Section D states that the shelter board has no authority to incur obligations under contract to expend money to procure services or goods or otherwise obligate the resources of either the city or the county beyond the annual budget for the animal shelter approved by both city and county and adopted by the county. So they are, and so we did respond again to the city saying, what is your answer on this? The city attorney said no to funding it, and then the mayor said, in light of the city attorney's opinion, I feel any action on this part should not take place in the 2025 budget, as this is an unbudgeted expense for 2024. The problem with all that is that, yes, the reason why this is hitting in 2024 is because of the delay in trying to get through this. The budgets are set in the fall. And we've already got approval. The county has said, okay, yes, it should have been set, but we are making kind of an exception for this. We are funding it out of contingency because we need to get this part-time person full-time to help out the shelter manager. Because if we don't, well, this is my opinion, she's getting burned out. And if we have to go through looking for another shelter manager, she's done a great job out there, clean up a bunch of messes that have been going on for years. She needs help in this half-time position. So what the resolution is that you have before you is, again, the county board has already approved all of it, the need for it, even the funding source, taking out contingency only for 2024. So this resolution saying that, or if you look at the whereas, the fourth whereas, the city has refused to fund the additional cost for 2024. Now therefore be it resolved that the county board supervisors approve the funding of the entire additional cost, again from part-time to full-time, approving the city's 40% only for 2024. And when you fund a position, you have to go through and do a financial impact, and basically, right now the part-time workers have no fringe benefits at all. When they get when this is hired as a full-time, they get health insurance. That is the big issue, because for a single person, the health insurance is $7,700. For a single plus one additional dependent, it's $16,000. For family insurance, it's almost $22,000. And so that is what's making the amount so high. We still have the part-time in there, so it basically boils down to the city is refusing to pay their share, or the 40% for 2024. This resolution is asking that the county pick that up only for 2024 out of the contingency fund. The financial impact, if you can see there in the little box on the left, is approximately 10 to 14,000. Again, when you budget stuff for this, you have to go assuming that somebody is going to be the family coverage and the dependents. So you have to budget for the highest cost. So that would be roughly the 14,000. The city's difference, which they are refusing to pay, again, right now, it's less than the amount for the full year, because we're already 1/3 of the year done. We're April or March is just about over. And so this figure of 10 to 14,000 that we're asking the county to pick up only for the fiscal year 2024, which is also a calendar year. So this number could be less, because if we've got, I believe, actually 22 applicants for the position. By the time we get through with all the applications and get this job done, it may be not until May or June. So again, that would be less expense because we're not hiring them yet. So this number 10 to 14,000 would be, again, the 14,000 would be if you hired somebody that wanted family insurance. 10,000 would be if it's just a single person. So the number will probably be less than that. But the whole point of this thing is that only for 2024, we're asking that the county pick up the city portion because the city is refusing to. The county went ahead and had already, the budget was done, but they're seeing the importance of keeping this person, keeping the director, and so they've already approved it. This resolution is only approving picking up the city's portion that they are not approving.
Okay, Mr. Collins.
I just want, I don't dispute anything that you say there, but I think it's a slippery slope for us to just go ahead and say, well, you guys aren't gonna do this, we're gonna pay it. What happens then next year for the next year's budget?
It will be in the budget.
Will we get them to agree to that? If we go ahead this way, I don't see it that way.
They still have to pay, remember, there's still a part-time person. They still have to pay the 40% of the part-time person this year, because that was in the budget. It's only the difference between part-time and the full-time that they are disputing and refusing to pay.
Good. Mr. Undershoots.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Along the same lines, the way this resolution is written, it's kind of pointing towards the city's refusing to pay, what we think they should be paying. I think that's not really establishing really good city-county relationship here. And to Brian's point, what's the guarantee they're gonna pay it? I hear they have to pay it, but don't you think it would be better if we went to the city, had them actually put it on their city agenda, just like the county board voted on it, the city council could vote on it for 2025, to make sure that we're all in the clear, instead of going to them and saying, you gotta pay this. I just think this is the wrong way about this.
Mr. Ryder?
The city and the county have had a long relationship. The animal shelter, actually, here where I live. But anyway, I really think we have a 60-40 split in the costs. And I think if we do anything different here, it really sets a bad precedent. The city has, over the years, has paid their fair share, I think. And anyway, that when we go ahead, what's gonna happen in the future when we start messing with this 40-60 relationship? The city made their choice, and I think if you look at maybe in the future, what assurances we have beyond that this year that the city would actually help fund this position, whether it's a good or bad position, I don't really know. I'm new here, but anyway, I think it disturbs the relationship here, and it really sets to me a bad precedent. And moving forward, working with the city on the animal shelter.
Thank you. Ms. Moss, good?
My idea is a little bit about that too. Did the city say they'd pull out a partnership forever? I kind of got that impression. I don't know if that's just me. But I was wondering.
Mr. Philstrom.
Has Rich looked through the contract to make sure what was mentioned before is not true, or is true, that's gonna cause us a snafu somewhere down the road? That scares me.
Well, and it gets on the note, whether the county surely can do this resolution. The concern that I would have is the Pandora's box that it opens. You have this building among 8 other ones that are jointly managed by the county and the city. For the county or the city to unilaterally increase funding with the hopes, the dream, the likelihood, I don't know what we're gonna call it, that the city's going to do it, you're opening Pandora's box to create a rift or to again, the agreement that you have is a recommendation by the Animal Control Committee to do this. In order to increase the funding, it's a 60-40 split. But the county unilaterally choosing to do so, again, you have the ability to do so. I think it, from a practical standpoint, I really can't say it's a legal standpoint, it creates a variety of potential problems down the road. So, again, with that in mind, you have the legal ability to do so.
Any other questions?
I think part of the problem here was obviously that for whatever reason, the city wasn't approached in the process. So even though the city has representatives on the animal shelter board, the city itself was not approached to see what their feelings or their willingness to support. And I believe, not intentionally an error, but I believe that something was said at the meeting when the board approved that resolution to go to a full-time, that all personnel decisions were the decision of the county. So we were given the impression that the county could unilaterally approve that position and that the city would be obligated to pay share, which was not the case. So there's always a possibility that the Animal Control Board and the county could go back to the city and say, okay, we didn't do this right. wanna do it right, will you cooperate and participate in that process? And perhaps the city would, then take the responsibility for their share and approve it, finding the contingency funds that they might have, I don't know. But, and then we maybe could resolve the issue amicably rather than, continuing to go back and forth with it and have all these issues of resentment and who said what said, they said, and you said. So I would really vote no on the resolution, but then I would encourage the Animal Control Board and perhaps the County Administrative Coordinator to reapproach the city and see if we do it the right way, they might agree. That's my.
Thank you, Mr. Willingham. Terry. There's some misinformation on that. We have approached the city and they will not put it on the agenda. They have been told about this. Like I said, they've got 2 city representatives on the board who approve this. We have approached them to put this on, to explain it to them, and it's been made very clear that they are not willing to put it on the agenda. They are doing it, because of that one thing. They do agree that the Animal Shelter Board has the right to hire people and to pay them. Their issue is that this should have been done earlier, so it was in the budgets. As I told you, this has been going on for months, and the first time was back in October, even before then. So the budgets were already done for 2024. So I don't think this is doing any precedent or anything like that. Next year, they even stated, the mayor said, I feel any action on the city's part should not take place until the 2024 budget discussion begin. Again, they're putting it on that. The county could have said the same thing. The county said, we don't want to lose this employee. We want to get help for her before she burns out. And so that, but again, the decision is up to you to make on this issue. Mr. Flatter. Yeah, you.
Okay. Recently I was approached by a member that's on the city animal shelter, and was urged to not support this. That she didn't support this at this time for, I think, a variety of reasons. That she urged me to recommend the board on her part that we vote no, and not support this until things are ironed out, straightened out with the full animal shelter.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions on the resolution? Oh, Mr. Kudo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would simply like to say, for those of you, the new members on this board, the things that have brought to your attention by Mr. Wedwick are basically all true. I mean, come on, people. I don't know if you know, Nancy Christensen is on the Animal Control Board. There's no way that the city did not know about this. Absolutely no way. Secondly, I don't know if you're aware of this either, but we have a very confident, anyway, our current shelter manager is extremely competent. She has done an amazing job. She works hard, really hard, and she puts in a lot of long hours. And she came to us saying that she needed help and she needed a full-time person, because basically she is doing 2 jobs there. She is getting very burned out. If something doesn't happen, if she doesn't get the help that she has requested and needs, she'll quit. Now, I don't know, anybody here know anybody that wants to manage an animal shelter? Because I don't, and not do it as good a job as Dawn is doing currently. So, Also, I was in a meeting, a joint, city and county board meeting, where Mr. Christensen basically said, no, we're not gonna do it this year, but he said, we'll put it in and look at it in budget for 25. So, I hope that you would disregard the veiled threats that we heard here from a speaker and, take this into consideration and help us get this through. We've worked hard at it. It's becoming to the point where, as I said, if we don't get this through and get Dawn some help in the shelter, she'll leave. It's point blank, she will leave. And I don't know how many here that are opposed to this would wanna sit and take her place until we can find a new, shelter manager. Anybody? Probably not. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kudo. Ms. Susan?
You said that there are 3 part-time workers, am I correct in that? What do they do? What are their hours? I mean,
They leave at 2 o'clock. They are limited in what they can do. They have no fringe benefits because once you reach a certain number of hours, then you get fringe benefits and everything. And with the budget so tight, you can't afford it.
can their schedule be
Well,
changed so
they're-
that they're
no.
there to help?
And they don't have, and they're part-time workers, they don't have the experience and that without being supervised to handle stuff like if Dawn is gone. And this is really a backup for Dawn and well to allow her to do, I mean, she's gotta do citations, she's gotta take care of spay, neuter. I mean, those of you who are new don't know the wide range of duties that are out there.
Mr. Phil Undershoots.
Okay, you said the hours cannot change for the part-time employees. What is the reasoning behind that? Is there a law that says part-timers can't work past 2 o'clock?
If they work too many hours, then they're eligible for fringe benefits, and that shoots the
So they
budget
can't start later.
like that.
They're not allowed to start at a later time either.
Yes, but you need somebody there to supervise them. Any other comments or questions on the resolution? It's up to the board to make the decision.
If not, vote on it. Seven to 12 failed by majority vote. Number 11, May County Board meeting date changed to May 21st, 2024 at 7 p.m.
That's just on there because I believe last year at last year's April meeting, we do 13 months in advance. The meeting last April was scheduled for May 28th of 2024. You guys just approved May 21st of 2024. So just a note for those who booked this on their calendar last year, we did today and moved it up.
Before we go, Ms. Ashley wants to speak.
Okay, so we would like to do an orientation meeting for the new board. We would like to get you up to speed on each of the departments, what their functions are here. We'd like to meet in here and then take you through the courthouse so you can, you got to meet Jared today, you got to meet Jeremy Jacobs, but we have several other department heads that you guys weren't able to meet yet. We'd also like to go over where we're at with some of the big things happening in the county, get you guys up to speed in terms of, you know, some highway stuff. We've got the jail project, the tower project, a potential addition out of the animal shelter. And then lastly, we would run you through a jail tour if you wanted to be able to see the current conditions in jail. We're hoping that we can set that for April 22nd, which is next Monday. And I'm looking for some direction from the board on if that
date works, and if you would like it to be a day or an evening meeting. Yes, yep, and then we'll go over, I think Rich will probably say a few things, we'll go over some of the information that I had emailed out as well, in terms of roles and responsibilities. And then we will also, at that orientation meeting, look at dates this summer for the Wisconsin Counties Association to come up and do training.
So we'll email that out to them, and if it doesn't work, we'll have to change it.
Right. And if you get an email from the county clerk, just, that's fine. If you're gonna reply, hit reply just to the county clerk, don't hit reply all. You'll learn about that, walking forms and things like that. So, we'll schedule it for the 22nd, you'll get an email, and then,
That's what I was gonna say, and like, I know that you, work as well, Jerry, would you prefer evening? Probably. Well, it would be nice if everyone could come, so everyone is getting
didn't
the
say that at first, though.
same information.
I think everybody should come have a refresher.
Kurt, would the evening work better for you, Kurt? No?
Council night.
Oh, okay.
and again, if you can't make it there, you can contact Ashley or I individually, and we can run through this stuff. Again, you can't do the tours and things. If you wanna do the tour, I think the sheriff would individually allow you to do that, make arrangements with the sheriff. But again, we'll, or Ashley will attempt to do something that some of you can attend. If you can't, not the end of the world. Again, reach out to Ashley or myself or the clerk or the chair, and, we'll go through that, so.
You probably wanna post that.
Yes, it will be posted, yes, no official action will be taken, but the quorum may be present. Yep.
Sounds good.
IT also has your laptops and badges ready for you.
Anything else, Ms. Ash? Richard, anything?
Nope, motion to adjourn.
John, I will email out electronic copies of the timesheets too, if you prefer to fill out electronic copy as well as some instructions on how to fill it out. So I will get that out by the end of this week.
You have mailboxes in the clerk's office. So that's where the timesheets, the paper timesheets are as well.
One final reminder, and then we'll do a motion to adjourn, is committee and committees, those of you who are on that, hang around and, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, 11, yeah. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
This summer, Jeff Ford, just for new members, information, they are certainly, the committee and committees meeting is an open meeting.
Correct, yes, big.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Pillar,
Second.
second by Jim Meyer, we are adjourned.
That wasn't the answer you wanted.
Oh.